Thank you, colleagues. Webb and Welsh 2019 reviewed published articles in the field of SoTL spanning the years 2012 to 2016 in 4 teaching-focused journals and looked at a total of 425 articles. They found that 269 of those articles were descriptive. Garraway and Bozalek 2019 also reflect on theorization in the extended curriculum programs and conclude that the innovative practices that we initiate in the extended curriculum programs are not always underpinned by deeper theoretical understandings about how knowledge is structured, about how pedagogies are enacted, and about how students learn new ideas, and argue that such understandings matter as they support and strengthen the teaching initiatives. Proceed. They then identify 2 main issues with theorization of foundation. 1, the overall lack of availability of theorization in foundation provision, and where this has been attempted, the tendency to be superficial. They also analyze several papers that have been written in this work. They look at the case studies of epistemological access by Bozalek, Garraway, and McKenna 2011, and the South African Journal of Higher Education 2015 Special Foundation Edition. Proceed. And these are their findings. They found that most of the papers in the case studies of epistemological access were descriptive and is in some cases, instances reflective of cases or only partially theorized. And that over half of the papers in the SAGE 2015 Special Foundation Edition were also descriptive or in some cases reflective of cases or only partially theorized. Proceed. They then identify several mainstream theoretical frameworks that have been used in theorizing foundation, and also some newer theoretical approaches that are emerging that may help those entering SoTL work in the ECP. As indicated earlier in my presentation, colleagues, the scholars who engage in SoTL research bring to it their own epistemological and methodological frameworks from their disciplines. Hence, pluralism in both methods and theories used to explore teaching in higher education. Proceed. The explication of these various theoretical approaches and how they could be specifically used by colleagues undertaking SoTL work in foundation provision is beyond my scope. While I have used some of these theories myself, I cannot at all claim to be a connoisseur of theoretical frameworks. All I can do is point colleagues to some of these theories from the literature so that colleagues can read around them and see if any could apply to their own studies and contexts. Proceed. And now back to Garraway and Bozalek. They identify from their analysis epistemological access as currently the dominant or hegemonic theorization for teaching and learning on foundation. They also then identify other frameworks that have been used in theorizing foundation, the academic literacies and discourses, Gee, Lee and Street, legitimation code theory, Martin, activity theory, Engstrom, universal design for learning, Leibowitz and Bozalek, and also active learning and co-construction of knowledge frameworks. Proceed. They also then identify some newer theoretical approaches which we could also explore. among them post-humanism, new materialism, and non-representational theory, all of which are predicated on relational ontology and a process philosophy perspective. So those colleagues are some of the theoretical frameworks that have been found in the literature that seem to have found way in theorization in foundation provision. And I would like to conclude with a call for deliberate structured efforts to enable and support SoTL work in universities. In order for this work to gain roots and to flourish, universities need to put in place systems for capacity building. The extended curriculum program grant provides for staff development in this regard. The university capacity development grant provides for staff development and support opportunities, and the SoTL staff in extended curriculum programs can benefit from such. For example, at my university currently, through the last cycle of the university capacity development grant, we were able to receive approval for funding to send at least 20 academics each year for 4 years, which means 80 academics in all, for a short learning program on SoTL, and whose outcome would be research output in SoTL, thereby building capacity and creating champions who will then go back into the faculties and help build capacity throughout the university. One other way of ensuring that SoTL can be recognized in university systems, including for staff in extended curriculum programs, is recognition of this work in ad hominem promotions, policies, in hours, and recognitions. Several universities have already made efforts to formally ensure that academics engage in the scholarship of teaching and learning through designing particular programs and qualifications where SoTL is grounded. The postgraduate diplomas for academics and educational developers, actual qualifications, masters, up to PhD. Vital, for example, reflects on how the University of KwaZulu-Natal has been able to ground SoTL in the university and promote it through university structures. And if you could access the kind of the article on how they were able to institutionalize SoTL and make sure they gained support, and the number of articles or output that resulted from SoTL, that can also provide those in universities who work with capacity building for SoTL work